Welcome, everyone, to Directors Club and this bonus episode, which is going to be a nice kind of informal conversation with returning guest Ryan Verrill, host of The Disconnected, among many other great endeavors that we're going to learn more about, including, a brand new venture that right at the top we're going to learn more about here, because I know he's been making the rounds, including on the most recent episode of Supporting Characters, hosted by my dear friend Bill Ackerman. But we don't necessarily just have to talk about a director to get Ryan back on the show. We can talk about what's going on in his life, and as well as sort of following up on the last official episode, learning about some films that he responded to strongly in 2025. So I'm excited for that. Welcome back, Ryan, to Directors Club.
Thanks. I wish we had more Don Bluth to cover. I wish he had put out something new since we recorded that first episode a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no, I know, right? We're going to get you and Billy Ray back on together, I think, later in the year. My feeling, is I've been itching to do this, and Billy Ray expressed interest in defending a lot of the more recent Zemeckis films.
Ooh, that sounds like Billy Ray.
Yeah. And that first Zemeckis episode we did was a little heated. And I want to just have a more chill, laid back approach to discussing the highs and lows of Zemeckis. So that might be on the docket. So let's put that in your calendar for the future. And like I said, we're going to talk a little bit too, in the second half, about some films that you just really dug in 2025, because I really enjoyed doing that with Bill and Patrick, of course. But right up front, let's learn all about Antenna, an exciting new distribution company. You've started with two other truly motivated cinephiles like yourself, including Billy Ray. Let's hear the origin story, because, I think, Ryan, at this point, you need a shirt that says superhero. Maybe Media Man. We can go with that. I don't. We can probably come up with something a little bit more original. But you're saving the world one disc at a time, and doing a whole lot.
My dear friend, Mr. Jeremy Long, is a cinephile like myself, and he attends far too many events in Los Angeles. He'll go to screenings, and most of them have Q&As. He's lucky enough to live in LA, and literally every week he's going to at least 1 or 6 Q&As, something like that. And he went to a release for the film The Last Stop in Yuma County, and it was attended by the star of the movie, Jim Cummings, and also by the director of the movie, Francis Galuppi. And
good film, really good film.
I love that movie. Yeah. It's genuinely incredible. Jeremy was texting me during the movie. He's like, man, this movie is great. You got to see this as soon as possible. And then afterwards, there was the Q&A. He heard everything and went up and was talking to Jim. It was just like, man, thanks for everything. And Jeremy is so great because he's like the best wingman in the world, and he goes in and shares, hey, he calls himself a producer of the show. He's like, I produced the show called The Disconnected. Would you want to come on for an interview? And Jim was like, sure, man. The Disconnect, is that about physical media? And Jeremy was like, yeah, it's all about physical media. We'd love to talk about it. He goes, oh man, I love physical media, but the director over here, you need to talk to Francis Galuppi. And so Jeremy went over, and Francis was like, oh my God, Blu-rays. Yeah, let's talk about Blu-rays. He was so stoked to talk about the movie, but he wanted to talk about movies on disc even more. And so Jeremy was like, oh man, we'll get you scheduled pretty much immediately. So we got him on the show, and we're sitting there. We talk about Last Stop in Yuma County for a little bit, and then we just start geeking out about things like audio commentaries and documentaries that we love, and the actual packaging behind releases. And in the conversation, Francis goes, should we start a Blu-ray company? And I was like, haha, wait, should we? And so we're sitting there just laughing about it for a moment. And then we keep talking for a little bit. And then the end of the conversation, I say, all right, man, well, I'd love to have you back on someday. And he goes, well, yeah, but let's talk about that Blu-ray company too. And I was like, okay. And so I pressed the button. I was like, wait, we've joked about this twice. Do you actually want to talk about this? Because I would. He goes, oh yeah, for sure. Let's actually discuss this. And so I think that was April of 2024. No joke. I ended up in Francis Galuppi's house July of 2024 to pitch him my idea for starting a brand new Blu-ray company. and he fell in love with it immediately. It was something where it was embraced emphatically. He said, this is a pursuit and a mission that is near and dear to my heart as a filmmaker and somebody that's passionate about this. So let's just do it. And so I set forth from that time, me and about 3 other guys, we were going to be doing this as much as we could. I laid out some things for everybody to do. And as has happened with me in the past a little bit, unfortunately, the other people involved did not necessarily hold up their end of the deal of what they were supposed to be contributing to. And I said, this is great and all, but let's move this forward. So I try to motivate them a little bit. And so now spring of 2025, all the political changes over this last year, I am a Fed in my day job. And I was like, listen, I need out of my job. I don't feel right even working here anymore. I need to do this. Let's make this a real thing. And they all said, we want to as well. We just can't put the time and energy into it. And I said, well, are you okay with me just going forward with it? And they said, yeah, by all means, just take it and run. And literally a week later, we were about 10,000 steps further than we had been. And I just took the ball and ran as fast as I possibly could. And now here we are, just under a year after that defining moment. And so it's been 2 years in the making almost. And it's real. Antenna Releasing is out in the public. We've got film signed. We've got a lot of stuff under our belt. And I'm sure we're about to get into it. But God, so much has happened so quick.
That's incredible. I almost want to watch a documentary about, all this happening. Yeah. There's that video game, the movie that came, about how something gets, initiated and then the process of how it becomes what it ultimately becomes. That's something you could maybe even make it to a movie in of itself at some point, because I just find that people who are so motivated and determined and dedicated are obviously that energy is so infectious, right? That's why we talk to all the people that we talk to, because it sort of seeps into us as a result. And then we kind of go, man, look at all the things you can do.
Yep. That's for me, the amount of times that I have had an idea that I thought was asinine, would never get done, just absolutely stupid. And then I sit on it for a couple of weeks and go, well, wait, is it stupid? Is it something that theoretically I could do, or get one other person to help me with this one aspect and finally could be doable and people would care about? And now it exists. Who in their right mind starts publishing a physical media magazine in 2023 when nobody is buying physical magazines, and yet now it's sold in stores all across the country? Things that I've done I'd never dreamed were even possible.
I know. I adore that magazine too, really. And it's something that I, plan to contribute to. It's something I keep saying it's on my to-do list, which keeps growing, of course. But at the same time, it's I get so hyper-focused on, certain projects, and this is going to be the year that I write a memoir. This is going to be the year that I finally finish my mental health documentary, and nothing's going to stop me from doing it. Although, like I wrote about in my most recent blog post, these first couple of weeks, in this country, it just sent me into this spiral of negative energy, and it's kind of hard to just separate myself and go, don't look at your phone. Don't look at the news. Don't look at YouTube, because it's just going to send you back into that almost feeling of I need to decompress and zone out, and my brain can't handle being creative in this moment. But it's now I feel this because of this project and other things going on with other people. I just feel this sense of I can get my projects done. I can do this. Don't feel so beaten up by the world, because that in a way that means they're winning. But I don't know. It's a lot to process what's going on in the world while also being so excited for the good stuff that's happening like this.
I agree. It is really difficult. It is something that I hate that we have to even consider. But I mean, lives are definitely being affected, and they should be considered. So the energy is not going nowhere. But man, it is absolutely an energy suck too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the New Year's resolution of even on the first of the month, I'm going to do this and do that. And then I couldn't. And then a couple weeks went by and I started to feel a little bit more grounded in myself and able to, actually say to myself, turn off the phone. Because every time it lights up, it's hard not to look, right? So I'm starting to do that, and it's helping out immensely. And when I first heard the name of this, my mind immediately thought of Cronenberg's Existence, because they have, I believe, in that film, the creator of those bioports is called Antenna Research. I've seen that movie one, maybe too many times, but I just like thought of like the reason why I like that one so much is because it's surprisingly fun and touches on like the communal experience of being obsessed with you know, like an artistic achievement or escaping reality.
Absolutely.
And you know, I think that kind of plays into your passion and your kind of diligence too, is just you obviously are doing this to connect with other people and bring them a sense of joy in their lives, but also the importance of physical media is something that you've championed for a long time. And now it's like you're branching out even further with making sure films are seen, right? Maybe otherwise would get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of hard to explain to a lot of people, because we are really trying to be dual focus isn't even the right way to say it, but like, you know, you hear people say things like you can't walk and chew gum at the same time, but the reality is for many of us, you have to do all this. You have to walk and chew gum and be thinking about your grocery list and 4 other things at the same time, because projects can all happen. And unless you are a specific archive with 2 people that are working on one film, you can do a lot of things at once. So, yes, we are trying to do our job to save films, but what does that mean? The reality is we start primarily at first with festival films. There are so many films right now that are getting released. They'll play some big festivals too, like not small names. We're talking like Slam Dance or even like Sundance last year. I think out of Sundance, only like 3 films got signed.
Yeah,
Literally,
I know a film called A Little Prayer was like buried for like 2 or 3 years, and I just kind of like, when is this movie ever going to come out? And it finally did through Music Box distribution company.
So when brand new films from filmmakers that are making a genuine splash can literally play some festivals, win some awards, and never be seen again, that is terrifying. That is something like, okay, they might end up on Tubi for a couple years, but great. What is that actually doing for a filmmaker? Literally nothing. So we're going to do our best to make sure that we can get it available in theaters all across the country and even worldwide. We're already working internationally with some other theaters. But the other big thing, like we're going to get these things on streaming. We're going to get them on VOD. We're going to get these films most of the time a physical media release. I'm also sensible about it. I know not everything is going to sell, so I can't. Sadly, I'm not some megalomaniac that can just pour all of the money in the world to every release, or I would. I absolutely would. But some things just simply won't sell, and we know that. But I mean, we're proving out of the gate that we're willing to take some risks, because the first title, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, it's a documentary that we announced, and that is
right.
It is getting a physical release. I'm not going to let this film not get a Blu-ray, because it is dying to get one. It's going to be great. I cannot wait. So that's brand new films, but also we're working with some catalog titles already, trying to approach some filmmakers to get some older films that have either never had a release or maybe had a VHS or DVD release, or maybe even like a really poor early Blu-ray release that we can improve upon and try to get that to have a lasting legacy, because it deserves it. Many of these films have never been restored properly, so we're trying to work with some restoration houses that can get us some properly good-looking films. But man, there are some things that we're going to be announcing later this year that for people like you, I think are going to be some of the more interesting and compelling aspects of Antenna that are going to be just shocking. There's stuff that is made that just to tease a little. Not only will they play a couple festivals and never be seen again, they are coming from some of the biggest filmmakers ever in the history of cinema, and you can't even see them publicly ever again. And that being the case, some of the names that we have associated with that already, mind-blowing to me. I hate to be a tease about it, but just wait. There is some exciting things in the works.
Oh, I trust you. No, I do. I mean, I don't know if the studio's like, want to phase out physical media, because over the long term, they're thinking, well, we're going to make all our money on streaming, right? Because it's a low monthly fee that ultimately accrues over time. But I guess it makes me worry about not just movies, but certainly the future of music too. Like bands really can only go out and make a living if they go out on tour, not by selling records anymore because of streaming and things like Spotify. And I don't know, things have changed and not necessarily better for the artist. I mean, we certainly get inundated with, as a film critic, we get inundated with screening links. We get inundated with, you can see this here, you can see this there. But the sad thing is just for the most part, we are struggling, to sift out things and find the right content to like focus on, because there's so much of it and there's too much of it. And I think we need people, certainly like Fun City Editions to just like bring awareness and attention to specific titles that deserve another life. Here's more good stuff that everybody is going to be able to own. And I know you'll sort of curate that too, in addition to, putting out things like you said, documentaries and films that sort of get lost in the shuffle, because even something like Predators that came out last year, I would love to have a physical media release of that and have extra content and commentaries or whatever, just to, learn more about the process of how that whole movie was put together.
Yeah, something like that, or The Perfect Neighbor. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
That one will likely never come out because it's a Netflix film. And honestly, the thing, like, I really enjoyed that documentary. I've been saying this too much over the last 2 weeks, but the thing that gets me is it's a pretty well-balanced documentary, pretty much entirely told through body cam footage, and I've never seen that before. It's so interesting that they could pull that off.
Yeah, I know. I was really impressed by that. And having like that unbiased perspective, even though there was like a couple of things where I was like, you're lingering this on a little bit too long, like in terms of the editing process. I wondered if you could have clipped this and clipped that. But at the same time, like just the impact of that whole story was just, it kind of floored me. But I love, like one of the first movies I was really, really passionate about and following the true life story was the, Paradise Lost series with the West Memphis 3, and so like now I get just as excited about documentary films as, regular, like, the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, because I learn a lot about, things going on in the world that way. But I'm also worried about a lot of things, like people not coming to the library anymore for movie screenings the way they used to, or how AI is going to take things over in terms of the creative process. But I mean, I don't know. I get why people are staying home to stream. Obviously the convenience of it and saving money. But whenever I go to a place like the Music Box, I'm just reminded of how almost like spiritual it is, or how I feel so much more connected to a room of people. I feel like you're not directly talking with them during the movie, but it's like this, you're sharing the same feelings and emotions together, and you're all on the same wavelength. And that's what I love about the power of cinema, is that we are connecting that way, and I don't want that to go away. And I also want important movies to be seen, and clearly Antenna is going to be doing that. So I'm very excited for you guys, really.
Thanks. I mean, the theatrical experience alone is something that is beyond important to us for multiple reasons. One of the big things that I have been mentioning that we're doing for so many of these movies is we love, Billy Ray and I specifically love regional films, and that phrase over years has sort of been co-opted to mean something that we don't really see it as. Regional films, like lately in physical media specifically, has been used for things like super low budget. We made this with 4 friends in a backyard type of movies. And while technically that is regional filmmaking, what Billy Ray and I love is a place where the region itself feels like a character in the film. So something where it's like, this was shot in Phoenix, Arizona, by a Phoenix, Arizona film crew, by somebody born and raised in Phoenix. And when I hear a story like that, I really go back to the days of, like Billy Ray and I have been saying, the John Waters method. So if we're going to release this film, you should be starting in Phoenix, Arizona. So what we're going to try to do is get like a real heavy theatrical premiere for this film in Phoenix. We want a red carpet event for this filmmaker in Phoenix, and then travel out from there. Something where word of mouth can travel and it can become a large cultural moment that started in the hub of this film. When you watch the film, it oozes Phoenix. And if you don't start in Phoenix, what are you doing? Like, it doesn't make any sense there. So we're going to do our best to make it something where the community can respond and raise awareness of the film kind of on our behalf. That's the big thing. And we will spurn that on by doing what we can to put our leverage behind it. But really, the film should be speaking for itself a lot of the time.
Yeah, and speaking to the community that would likely recognize, just exactly where, certain locations are, but just maybe the overall feel. But they also want to celebrate their town. It's funny, like, I'm not the biggest sports guy, but like, oh, the Bears are doing great, so now I feel like championing them. It's just like one of those things where you want to get behind your city and support, just the overall feeling that everybody's experiencing again in this communal way. And I know, like, one of the more successful screenings I had at the library was Medium Cool, because it was a Chicago movie. Like, a lot of it is about Chicago and certainly what happened during the Democratic National Convention that year really got people interested in revisiting that movie. And it was just like, well, now I kind of get it. I get it why, like, a lot of people do prefer that, seeing a movie that they'll recognize their own city, but just, kind of getting a flashback into history that way too, which is great.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. So again, like, I can't wait to see what becomes of all this. I mean, I've talked to you about this many times, and certainly a lot of people we know are just like, have so much on their plate. And I always go, how are we doing all of this? Like, I'm sure we're sleeping. I'm sure we're taking care of our families. I'm sure, like, we're doing all the things we need to be doing and adulting, and, you do it by the seat of your pants, as you told me. But I always wonder, like, almost like what a day in the life is like for somebody. Like, how do you structure yourself? Do you have is it like one of those like Morgan Freeman had in The Dark Knight, the surveillance screens all over the place, and you're just like going, how is it?
I wish
set
people
up
could
for
see
you?
my desk right now. I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 screens in front of me. Not kidding.
Oh my God.
Three of them are for my day job, my laptop for all of the other stuff, and then I've got 2 cell phones up, one for my day job and one for my my home job.
That's amazing.
Man, life is crazy. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, you're like the architect. I mean, you're just kind of like making it happen in all these different realities and all these different ways. And yet it's like all coming from a really personal and passionate place. I think a lot of people, like you were talking about, even just trying to get things off the ground. Some people talk the talk, they don't walk the walk, and you are always walking the walk.
I'm doing my best.
I'm expecting, like, all right, let's see, any announcements from Ryan today? Maybe during the interview.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, no, exactly. But let's talk a little bit about 2025 now, because again, I certainly had a great time talking about the year in film with Patrick and Bill, but at the same time, I sort of acknowledged, like, I didn't feel as passionately about this year as I normally do. And again, maybe it is since COVID and lockdown and everything that the whole experience hasn't been the same, or movies aren't like, there's obviously, I can find 30 movies a year to say, I love these movies. These are great. Go see them. But for the most part, I never see a full-blown, oh my God, mind-changing, mind-blowing masterpiece. And I've sort of just come to terms with that. Like, there's obviously a favorite movie every year. And of course, for me, it was the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, which is just a cliche at this point. But I want to know what you really dug this year. Like, just rattle off like 10 films that, you, and maybe even some that aren't making every other list too, or, movies that you felt really strongly about.
this was a very interesting year for me. Normally, I am not like you. I don't have the opportunity to see lots of films from the year that they came out. I'm usually more of a rep and catalog title type of person because I did not get raised in a period where I had seen much of the classics, so I'm still very much playing classic, like catch up with a lot of people.
Sure.
But this year, it was interesting. I've got two kids. They are now 9 and 10, and both my mom and my mother-in-law both moved to our area of the country in the last 3.5, 4 years. And so that has meant that we sort of have not built-in babysitters to take advantage of, but people that I can ask kindly to say, hey, the kids miss grandma and I miss the theater. Would you mind watching them? And this year I kind of made it a goal to make that happen every week, starting in about April. And so from April until literally like December 20th, or no, it was Christmas weekend was the first one that I didn't do it. Every single weekend from April until Christmas, I did not miss at least a double feature in a theater that entire time.
Nice.
And there was some weekends I saw 7. I think my average was 4. And usually this was one day. But yeah, there's a couple that I had to go back a few times and just really get it done. But huge for me, which I know for some people listening, this is nothing, but I saw, I think 130 or 129 in the theater this year, which massive
that is
number
special.
for me.
That I mean, I didn't see that many in the theater. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I wish
you get
I
a lot
had,
more
but
links than I do, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So it did feel like a special year for me, and I really felt like, just personally, it did feel like one of those cultural moments. It felt like something where like, holy hell, I finally get to understand what the joy of a full period of cinema can feel like, and like enjoying that, the zeitgeist as a whole, I guess. It did feel special. And so this year, man, so many movies that I just truly loved. For me, your cliche is one battle after another. My cliche is Sinners. I think that it is revolutionary. The only 5-star film I saw a year. It just absolutely incredible. Meant a lot to me as a person. Lots of others that are on a lot of people's top of lists. So I'm not going to belabor Marty Supreme in One Battle After Another too much. I will say No Other Choice is proving to me that Park Chan-wook is maybe one of the greatest living directors at the moment.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Every time I see one of his movies, I'm excited. Like and I go, look at those, like just some of his transitions, or, some of the choices he makes with editing kind of blows my mind every time. Like I'd never seen that before.
The way that he throws in music with some of the editing choices, nobody else is doing it, and it's incredible.
Right.
Let's see. The other two that I think, one a lot of people haven't seen yet because it's just now getting its wide release, is The Testament of Anne Lee. This
I believe it's just
may have been my biggest,
the music box.
May have been my biggest surprise of the year. This is literally my number 2 film of 2025. Wow. That high on my list. I think that it is like if Robert Eggers directed a religious cult musical and didn't make it horror focused. And based on that, I hope more people understand the vibe that you're going to get from this film. I think a lot of people are right now harping on a couple of individuals leading the way for the Best Leading Actress Oscar. I think Amanda Seyfried deserves it over anybody, and I don't even think it's close. I think she 100% gives by far and away the best performance this year.
I cannot wait to see this. I've been a fan of hers, heck, going all the way back to Mean Girls. So, yeah. And I know she's really evolved over the years. It's just one of those people that I'm excited to see in anything. And this is something that I guess like I was more mid on The Brutalist. Like people were over the moon about it, and there were things I loved about it. And I was certainly one of those people that was like, it was a little long. And I don't necessarily like where it went at one point, but I admired it. And again, amazing theatrical experience without a doubt, to have like an intermission and like see that in 70 millimeter. Definitely one of the more memorable experiences I've had. But yeah, I know Brady Corbett's partner is responsible for this new film, and I've heard nothing but like, this is a very original, interesting, striking movie. So I'm going to check it out probably in the next few days. Finally.
It is incredible. Genuinely amazing. Two that are very high on my list from well-known filmmakers. One that I'm usually kind of mid on, and one that I always love. I feel like people are sleeping on The Life of Chuck. I always love Mike Flanagan, but this is such a special departure from what he normally does that I feel like people either didn't see it because I understand that it looks cheesy, and in a way, it is schmaltzy in a way. But that's kind of the point here. It's like to make you question big questions in life. And so it has to come across as philosophical and deep and complex, but you can't make it too like Nietzsche in the moment or anything like that, because it's not going to, that doesn't work as a film. And so there's a lot of stuff in this movie that you're going to walk away questioning your existential reality a little bit, but that's the entire point. So in a way it is schmaltzy on purpose, and that was the goal. And then the other thing for me that I did not expect to love as much as I did, Caught Stealing, from Aronofsky this year. I loved this movie.
Me too. I mean, like, that's a genre movie done right, and in a way that's like energetic and still you care about what's happening. Like, it's not just like, oh, somebody gets blown away, who cares? You know, I mean, he actually invests a lot into that story in a way that's just like, you think, because I was thinking, I don't know, I was trying to think of like a recent example of like, oh, is he just like, is this director just coasting and doing a genre exercise, you know, and it's not going to be anything special. But I mean, like, that's what I was thinking going into it. So maybe having lower expectations helped, but at the same time, I was incredibly entertained by everything about it. And it's just like, I almost thought of like an Elmore Leonard movie, right? Or a story. Yeah. And he sort of brought it to life in a way that I'm glad that he did. Like, he should just make movies that are fun once in a while.
And the casting in that movie is so perfect. I had never really come to the world of worshiping not only some of the side characters, but the big thing in this movie is Austin Butler. I had liked him in like the side thing on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I gotta be honest, still have not seen Elvis. I know that's the thing that everybody praises.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
That was hilarious. I want to see it because I want to see, like, did I just truly miss out on 100% of the hype on him? But this movie is what brought him to my attention. I loved him in this movie. I thought he was amazing.
Yeah, it's a star-making role, and it's, you know, I mean, again, like, but, you know, for the most part, there are two things that I'm just kind of indifferent towards now. Maybe it's just because I've been inundated with them for so long. You know, and unfortunately, it does play into my reaction to the second hour of Sinners, is that I'm burnt out on vampires, which I feel bad about. I am. And it's like, I know you can still utilize them in an interesting, original way. And I get what he was going for in Sinners, for sure. But a lot of me, in the moment at least, was just kind of like comparing it to From Dusk Till Dawn a little too much. Right. You know, and I don't expect like complete originality with all movies these days either. But I'm just also tired of the, you know, Walk the Line, Springsteen, and Elvis musical biopic approach to telling a story. I want it done differently. And rarely do we get that these days. And so that's kind of why I wrote off Austin Butler in Elvis, and the movie as a whole is just like, got it. It's kind of Baz Luhrmann doing Baz Luhrmann, but it's still one of those types of movies to me. And I'm just, again, burnt out on those movies to where I will likely dismiss, even though there are things about the Springsteen movie I like too, but and certainly Jeremy Allen White's a great front, you know, he's a great front man. Like, I'm talking like he's the boss, but you know what I mean? He's a great leading character, and a great actor, certainly with what he's accomplished with The Bear. But I mean, I want music biopics to be interesting and done unconventionally, or do something like, you know, the documentary that Brian Eno did. Like, it was just like, well, you're certainly messing with the form by doing it that way, right? By telling a story that way. So, but yeah, no, I mean, again, like going back to just Austin Butler, I mean, I wasn't too hot on the Bike Riders, but then Caught Stealing, you're right, 100%. Like, he's really firing on all cylinders, and so is Aronofsky. So, thumbs up. I approve.
Absolutely. And honestly, the musical biopic discussion, argument, whatever it should be, I don't even make them anymore. I got to be honest. Let's not. Let's just put it on ice for 20 years and then maybe come back to it. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story ruined it for you.
Exactly.
It is the best one that will ever exist, and you have no chance of getting close to it again. It has satirized it to a point where it's done. The genre has been killed. It's in bed. Forget it.
Yeah. No, stop. Yeah, just stop. Do something, different with that. I mean, again, there's a lot of great stories within everybody's lives, but tell it in a different and, compelling way that isn't just like, all right, point A to point B to point C. I do like it when they do the like specific point of time approach without it being like birth to death, kind of a narrative. But again,
just give us proper documentaries. I would love that instead.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what movie was it recently that I was torn? Like, oh, this could have been a better documentary. Oh well, it'll come to me at some point. But no, those are all great picks. I mean, Life of Chuck. It felt like almost like that could have been a Zemeckis movie, right? It could have been Forrest Gump, but I really responded strongly to it, but I was also surprised that I didn't get like walloped by the ending. Maybe it's just like it ended in a way that I hadn't expected and thought, oh, it's here come the waterworks, right? But it didn't, and that's not a bad thing. It just made me want to rewatch it, and maybe I'll have now that I know what I'm in for in terms of how that story is told, I will respond more strongly to it on a second viewing, and that's the case with a lot of movies.
And the other thing, it wasn't it wasn't a straight timeline. So I think, excuse me, that came out of nowhere. I did not get a chance to mute. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll take care of that.
I normally don't do that. Timeline wise, I feel like the wallop for that one is the end of Act 1, and then Act 2 comes in and really makes you sort of like breathe for a moment. And I actually like the structure of that, because if the end of Act 1 had been the ending of the film, I probably would not have wanted to stand up for a good 10 or 12 minutes and not been okay. But the act of like saying the universe is over and then immediately going into here's Hiddleston being charming as shit for 20 minutes, just dancing his ass off. I enjoyed the like levity, I guess, for a moment, and then leading into more of that Stephen King classic. This is a bit of supernatural mixed in with like existential dread is a fun and interesting ending to it.
Oh yeah, no, I thought so too, and I've been a huge fan of Flanagan, and it was a great episode to do with my friend Chloe, and at the same time I'm just like, maybe try to veer away from Stephen King. I mean, he's doing really good work with Stephen King, don't get me wrong, but we had 3 Stephen King adaptations last year, I think.
At least, if not 4 even.
Yeah, probably 4, yeah. But I mean, what did you think of The Monkey? Did you like The Monkey?
I'm iffy on it. I think the tone overall was fun. I'm also not super high on our director here. That we can talk more about Keeper if you want, but I feel like he is not super. Like, I'm not even like, let's see the next one from Perkins. I really enjoyed The Blackcoat's Daughter.
Me too.
Longlegs, I think, has grown on me. I think the moment I watched it, I was like, well, it was all right, but then afterwards, I was like, They kind of pulled some really fun things off, and it lingered in my mind a while. And I don't know if maybe he was just knocking them out too fast, and he didn't get a lot of time to not even just think about them, but like sit and let them grow a little bit into a more percolated project. But The Monkey and Keeper were done pretty much identically at the exact same time. Right. And to get both of those out in the same year, Keeper specifically, I thought was a real swing and a miss. But The Monkey was at least fun and enjoyable, but gosh, like some of the CG was half baked. Some of the the wig in the last act of that movie could have been so much better. And I know those are weird things to nitpick, but overall, like, this is a beloved kind of classic short story. We can do so much better by this.
Oh yeah, I agree. And yeah, it was an interesting year for horror in general, because most of the things I walked away with thinking good, not great. And I felt like, yeah, I mean, there's obviously, I completely understand everybody's overwhelming love for something like Sinners, and, you know, people really being behind pretty much all things Del Toro with, you know, his
Right.
iteration on Frankenstein. It's just that for the most part, like, I wasn't completely satisfied with the whole experience to where I'm like nitpicking as I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, I don't
Right.
want to do that. Turn off that critical part of my brain and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did really like Weapons, and you know, there are things about a lot of horror movies that came out that I really responded to, and I'm glad that Letterboxd is now becoming like its own streaming service now by putting out It Ends, which is a really interesting horror movie that's like a extended Twilight Zone episode that is just totally my jam. Did you see that one yet?
I did not. It is something that I very much regret not being able to see. But the fact that they put it out on the video store and then within like 48 hours is picked up by Neon, got to be the most validating thing for Letterboxd ever to see that happen.
Yeah, right. I'm again, like, this is what's one of the many reasons why I'm excited to see what happens this year for a lot of people that, you know, I've had on the show, or that, you know, Bill has had on his show, or, you know, people that you've strongly connected with and had on your show. So it's like there's a lot of possibility. There's a lot of things that we have, you know, to be excited about in general. And certainly you taking on more is kind of like, how are you doing it? But I know you will. And I know you'll pull it off. And I know that, especially like having somebody like Billy Ray and Francis together, right? I mean, they're going to be on top of things. They're going to be like, you don't have to worry about those guys, right?
Right.
they're going to pull their weight.
Francis is busy as hell right now. He is literally filming the next Evil Dead film right now. But after that, he'll be a little more hands-on in between other projects. He has stuff coming up that are going to blow people's minds that he's attached to. I cannot wait for the press release to come out on a couple of these things. But Billy Ray specifically is such infectious, wonderful soul that I have adored working with for the last 5 or 6 years. And now that we're doing it in a way that has a lot more skin in the game for each of us, it feels surreal to go from, again, like a moment of serendipity that was just me volunteering for something. The only way that I know Billy Ray, like many people, is because of his association with Screen Drafts, and I had been listening to it, had followed him on social media, and one day back in, 2019 or 2020, he asked if somebody could, over Twitter, he just tweeted, would somebody come on and produce my podcast? And I just DM'd him, and literally that was the moment that got us together. If I had not had taken that leap, none of this ever would have existed, which is nuts to me.
Yeah, I'm amazed, really. I mean, that's, again, like, you know, Bill certainly just wrote into my show and was a fan first, and then I don't know. It's like sometimes you just get a good vibe from people via email. That's all it can take. Like,
it's true.
Expressing themselves, that made me go, I actually just want to talk to this guy and maybe even have him on our show and see how it goes. And boy, what a wonderful, lasting friendship that's become. And look at all of that he's achieved over time. And you know, and it makes me think of, you know, someone like the late great Sergio, who you know, I would run into a lot and talk with, and you know, we became friends. And you know, I was always like doubting myself in terms of like, you know, the big picture of, you know, the podcasting community, or you know, even with film critics, because I'm like, yeah, I can't go and see everything, and I can't write about every movie that comes out, and blah blah blah. And he's like, dude, you're fine. You're doing great.
Right.
And like just hearing it from somebody like Sergio really meant a lot. And again, like, I love that this community of passionate cinephiles all keep in touch, you know, and I wish we could all just hang out and have coffee and play poker once in a while in person. You know, I wish we all lived close by, because, you know, and that's like the high school experience I get nostalgic for, is like, oh, I get to hang out with my 4 friends after school and nerd out or whatever. But this is still just wonderful to have a nice conversation with you and learn about like what you're working on and what you're doing, but also just sort of realize that we're all kind of doing our own thing and trying to put something positive out into the world, as dark and negative as things can be sometimes, you know?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it feels good right now to hear that.
Lots of moments this last year for me that lots of things just plain felt hopeless, and I totally get it. It's been a period where, I mean, not to be a downer for a moment, I lost a friend just a couple of weeks ago, literally to depression, and the one thing that has made me feel better coming out of this is that just through the Disconnected posting on social media, we've been able to send his family almost $1,000 just in support, and that sort of thing. Like, I personally, I don't see that happening with many other entities out there where they see stuff like this and just go, oh yeah, this is just the right thing to do. And Disconnected has done it, I think 4 or 5 times, with everybody just rallying together behind a family. God, there was a few years ago, we had a friend that was not even like real big around the community. They weren't super active, but their wife was in a freak accident, and they were immediately quadriplegic and had to mend their house in like just these giant ways that was going to be insurmountable cost wise. We ended up sending that family almost $4,000.
Wow.
I don't like the fact that all these people are willing to come behind Disconnected and do that. It speaks to so much about the people that I want to surround myself with, and I love the people are answering that way.
Yeah, it's great to know that like humanity is still there, compassion is still there. People, it is fun to nerd out and get excited about, physical media and talk about movies and be passionate about the things that we love. But in the end, it's also about, putting something good out into the world that can hopefully help people, even though like we do experience hardship and depression and loss. There is just something about experiences like that make you, that like just affirm your faith in people, and I'm so grateful for that, because we need more of that and less of all the other horrible stuff, because that's what I'm trying to like
the truth
focus on, is just let's just keep it going. Let's keep it real. Let's keep empathy alive. Really. I mean, that's something that I always go back to with Ebert. That's a quote that goes around with all my,
I use it often.
Film-loving friends. Yeah. And for a reason, because I think it's one of the most profound things and most beautiful and yet simple things to say, is that it's an empathy machine. And I think we need more of that in the world. We need to keep that going. And I just hope that, it doesn't get worse, because, but there's a part of me that does hyper focus on what is AI going to do to everything, right. And at the same time, I'm trying to be optimistic when I see someone like Ethan Hawke going, I'm going to this live theater because AI can't do this.
Right.
There's just no way that, seeing live theater is ever going to be replicated by AI in any capacity. So I have a feeling that people that really, really respond strongly to the arts are always going to be doing that. Like, they're not all just going to stay home and stream something created by AI. They're going to go out and support and champion real artists that make something with their heart and soul. And I'm just, again, I can't express enough gratitude for everything that you're doing and everything that you've done, but also just, like, keep in touch with, with whatever's happening. Like, if there's a big, release coming out, we'll talk about it. Or, like I said, we're going to have you back on Directors Club later in the year for sure, just to nerd out again, because I think it's overdue.
I mean, it's an honor. I've always loved the show. You do incredible work.
Thank you.
You were somebody that I mean, just this week, getting not to be extra schmaltzy in person, but getting your Substack or the new blog update, not Substack, but have that show up in my email. One of those moments that instills a little more hope, because it reinforces the fact that no matter what, I always have something to look forward to, and even if that just means a little bit from my dear friend Jim talking about stuff that he's loved recently, that's enough. That's what I need.
That means a lot too. Yeah, and the same goes for you. So I mean, on one hand, I go, "Oh crap, he's posting something that I'm probably going to spend my hard-earned money on." Why is
Criterion announcements went live while we recorded this, by the way.
Oh my God! Now we got to go see what those are. I'm so excited. You know,
Life of Brian.
Ooh, really?
Really?
All right. No, I'm down for that. I still got to pick up the Pee-wee 4K. Like
Same.
There's so much. That's too much. I'm going to spend all my money, I'm so glad. I'm so glad all of this exists, and I'm also glad that places like Vinegar Syndrome have their sales when they do.
Oh yeah,
because I'm just like, I load up now. Thank you. I'm good.
Not to harp on antenna too much, but that's one of the things that I'm really trying to hit with this is keep prices as low as we possibly can.
Yes.
We probably won't have many, if any, sales ever, but the reality is, if I can keep it as low as possible always, that should make more people be able to have accessibility to those titles. So that's a big focus for me. I love many of these other companies, but releasing one film on one disc for $55 is a lot to ask for in 2026.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen enough of those moments.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the frustrating things. Like if I pop on Reddit or something, I'll see that and be like, "Oh, it's too much money. I don't want to pay that much for it." And
yep.
I get that too, but there's always sales. So look forward to that. And let's look forward to the future, man. You know, seriously, there's going to be good things to come, and I know you're going to be a part of it all. And hopefully we will meet in person someday. That'd be great to just experience that. And even at, like, when everybody, like, if you, me, and Bill can all meet up and hang out in person together sometime, that would be great. So let's make that happen, hopefully in the next couple of years, because this is going to be a busy year for all of us, I'm sure.
I will 100% not only say we should, but I will promise that. I'm not too far away. I mean, it's an 8-hour drive, but it's not too bad. And beyond that, I for some reason, ever since moving to Kansas City, Chicago has been like my destination of I've never been there and I really want to visit it, and it's never been able to happen. And yet I've gone to LA like 4 times, so I need to make that happen.
Music Box Theater.
Well, and I mean, just last night, like I championed Music Box on my show because they do so many incredible things for home video and for theatrical stuff. But Music Box isn't even there's so much rich culture in Chicago and film history and. Like some of the history for Vinegar Syndrome is in Chicago. There's so much that is just steeped there, and I to have never seen it, like, that seems criminal.
You'll get there. It's, we're all busy. We all have lives and certainly families, priorities, and things like that. But, our heart belongs to the movies too, and that's why we all connect so strongly. And I'm glad that you've built such an amazing community of your own, and just tell everybody more about it, where they can find it, and where they can follow you.
Excellent. So Disconnected, that is everywhere under the name The Disconnected on social media and all that stuff. We talked about that plenty. So Antenna Releasing, that is everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky. But the big thing, go to antennareleasing.com. You can sign up for the email newsletter there, and we are going to be putting out regular stuff that is not just promoting our own stuff, but really talking about the industry and distributing films and the hardships facing people that right now. Include some like personal stories in the newsletter for people that are going through stuff. Antennareleasing.com is the place where you'll find all of it. The links to all the socials are there. It's a big deal. More to come, possibly, as far as like a presence from us. I will say at least we're going to have a big letterbox presence. You can count on that.
Woohoo!
Love me some letterbox.
You'll definitely have to get Mitchell Beaupre involved at some point.
We literally met with Mitchell this week.
Yes! Awesome. I love this 6 degrees of separation. It's so beautiful to see, because I know all these great people are going to be a part of everything that I'm excited about. Like anytime I see, like people have, extras on a Blu-ray or something, I'm just like, oh, so glad for that. And so grateful for you too, man. Thanks for everything. And thanks for coming on to talk about a lot of exciting things to come.
Far too many. Check it out. Our first announcement was Stolen Kingdom. That'll be in theaters somewhere around May, and hopefully be playing a city near you.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. We'll be in touch and hopefully have you back on the show soon enough. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Jude. You're the best.